Hi guys, Anel Tunes, the African Mix Master, once again in another mixing tutorial. Actually today I'm going to be sharing about mastering, not mixing. I know I rarely do things about mastering and a lot of questions came in on how I do my mastering. So there is a plugin I would like to talk about here. But first, this is a song by Rema Namakula. Let's listen to it. My sweet tamale, baby come closer, yeah. Are you a lover? Are you a lover, lover, lover? Give me love, give me love. It was produced by Nessim, performed by Rema Namakula. But I would like to share with you something about multiband compression. There is a plugin that I find so common in producers' projects. Let me see if I can get it here. Dynamics, multipressor. Yes, this one here. And most projects I get have this particular plugin here. And it's a very good plugin, a very powerful plugin. But I realized that most people don't understand, don't know how to use this plugin. And it is one of the most complicated plugins, I should agree. It's a bit difficult to understand. But if you get the basics of it, you'll find that it's one of the easiest plugins to use. It's just amazing. So it is called a multiband compressor. I love using my C4 by Waves. I love simple things. It gives me a very simple display that I can easily deal with. So this is basically a compressor, just like any other compressor. It has attack, release, ratio, those things, basically. The only difference is that on a multiband compressor, these particular parameters are divided into bands. So depending on the multiband compressor that you're using, for example, this one has 1, 2, 3, 4 bands. This one also has 1, 2, 3, 4. Some of them have 5, some of them have 6. But I love simplicity. I don't want to divide my song into so many bands. So today we are going to look at particularly the release. Release tells the compressor when to let go. Say if the song or if the material goes above the threshold, the compressor will pull it down. Okay? So for how long will the compressor be holding that signal that has gone above the threshold? Okay, now that is determined by the release. So it releases the signal back to normal. Whenever it goes above the threshold that is set, it is held down or pulled down, which is normally called the gain reduction. But for how long is this compressor going to hold it? That is determined by the release. Please look on my channel, YouTube channel. I have put there tutorials about the compressor. You'll understand what threshold is, what attack is, and those many things. On this setup here, when you look at it, so it is more like having 4 compressors working on one song, but each compressor is working on a different band. So we have the lows, we have the mid lows, and we have the mid highs, and also the highs, okay? So when mastering, each particular band is treated kind of a bit different, okay? Most songs don't have breathing space. You feel like the song is all stuffed up. It is not free, simply because they used a multipressor, like I showed you, this one here, and not understanding how it works, okay? So I just want to give you basically some tips on the release. So if you look at my C4 here, you're going to see the release is the last one down here. So you will see that from the low frequencies to the high frequencies, the release time goes on reducing. So we see here it is 4020, 40,000, 27 milliseconds. We see it's 25, or you say 40.27 or 25.00. Here you see it's a 9. Here we see it's a 5. So why do I make a release? Why is it that way? In most cases, the low frequencies occupy the biggest space on the frequency spectrum. Okay, the low frequencies, they occupy the biggest space. So if you squash them, okay, and you let them move around so much, they end up pulling the song down and, stuffing up the song. So it's normally advisable to have more control of the low frequencies. I'm not saying squashing them, but just having more control over them. Okay, just like you would do on the mid frequency. For example, here we have a 40. So the lower the frequencies, the more control you need to have. Okay, now we see that as we go towards the mid highs, for example, here are the mid highs. This particular parameter here, this section here, covers this part here. So we see that we are getting now here a 9. We're having a very big drop. This is because that our ears perceive high frequencies faster and quickly. We are very responsive to the high frequencies. So what we do, if you hold the high frequencies so much, it will be very obvious in a song that this song lacks some clarity. You'll easily feel it. So we don't want to make an obvious check or an obvious compression on the high frequencies. That is why we use low release values. In other words, the compressor releases the high frequencies faster. It doesn't hold them longer. Okay? And another thing is that it's because these high frequencies tend to be, they're just very much audible to our ears. We easily perceive them. They have a very high perception, but they don't occupy a large frequency space. They don't occupy a very big space. They're just that they're very obvious, okay? So they're so fast that they don't require so much holding down. In that if you hold them down for a longer period of time, say you set high values of the release, that simply means that they will be easily noticed that, hey, you're compressing too much here. So a person who doesn't understand this technical language will think like, will feel like something is not right in this song, okay? So we need that clarity there, but of course not harsh. So we just give a kiss of it, just a touch of it. And you're going to realize that if you look at the way this line moves here, on this particular compressor, this line tells us how much gain reduction and how fast that gain reduction is lets go of the audio. So you realize that in the lower frequencies here, it will hold a little bit longer, and in the higher frequencies here, it's hitting so fast. It's hitting so quickly. I don't want you to get lost into the visual expressions of the compressor. You must learn how to balance that. Your ears, what you hear and what you see. Very many people tend to stick towards too much towards the visual, what they see, and they don't mind about what they're hearing. Yet actually, people who are going to consume the song are only going to listen to it. They're not going to see it. They don't even know what's happening behind here. So you have to be very conscious about that. Keep your ears open. Okay? So let us see here. Give me love, give me love, give me love. Give me more and more, give me more and more. Yeah, follow you, follow you, follow you. I will be your protector. I hope you've seen that. You see that the compressor takes a little bit more time to release the low ends and the mid lows, and up here it only snaps quickly. It moves with the snare. So I was just trying to control the snare and the high frequency just a little bit, just to get a balance throughout the whole song. This has been more of a theoretical class than a practical one, but this will help you understand these dynamic compressors more. So today we talked about the release. So next time I want to talk about the attack, okay? And the other time I'll talk about the ratio, which Waves calls the range, okay? And we shall understand how these things really work. You don't have to really use this particular one. You can use any other. Just understand the concept behind it. Just understand the base and the foundation. So please go on my channel, look for the compression or the compressor tutorial. Thank you. See you in my next tutorial. Anel Tunes once again